We are all addicts. You, me, your mom, your coworker who is obsessed with CrossFit and can't stop talking about it. All of us. And the thing we're addicted to isn't some secret vice. It's in your fridge, your lunchbox, your healthy smoothie. What I'm about to do is show you exactly how sugar hijacks the same part of your brain that cocaine hijacks, and give you one stupid, simple trick to stop it in 72 hours. If you don't do it, don't come crying to me, because you'll be having the same conversation with yourself next year, and the year after that. Okay? So, when you put something sweet in your mouth, your taste receptors send a signal to your brain, and your brain sends it right to your reward system. Same reward system that lights up when you have sex, or do cocaine, or, everything. And the reward system uses one thing and one thing only: dopamine. Now, if you eat a healthy meal, your dopamine levels go through the roof and then come right back down. Your brain is like, oh, cool, we're good. We got some good stuff in there. We're set. But sugar doesn't do that. The dopamine spike is the same every time. Your brain never gets bored of it. It just keeps screaming, more. That's how drugs mess with your brain. Alcohol, nicotine, heroin, all of them drive dopamine into overdrive. Sugar is no exception. Not quite as dramatic, perhaps. But let me tell you something that really should make you angry. No one is putting heroin in your yogurt. 80% of packaged foods have some amount of sugar in them. You're giving yourself a continuous dose of the stuff, and you think you're having breakfast. Did you catch that? You're not consuming sugar because you want to. You're consuming it because you're being given a choice. There is a difference. Go to the comments and tell me what sugary food you consume every single day without ever really giving it any thought. Granola bars, flavored coffee, orange juice, which is basically Fanta but with better marketing. Go ahead. I bet you don't even think of it as a problem. That's the whole point. This is the part of this whole thing that, honestly, I think is kind of unfair. Sugar is not just in candy. It's in tomato sauce, yogurt, dried fruit, granola bars, bread, and a whole bunch of other stuff. The food industry adds this stuff to their products because they know exactly what it does to your brain. They know exactly what it does to your wallet. Glucose, fructose, sucrose, maltose, dextrose, high fructose corn syrup are fancy words for the same thing. More than 50 words for sugar on food labels. 50. They're not fooling the government, they're fooling you. And, well, you have to admit, they're doing a pretty good job, right? You didn't even notice. And that is where it starts to get really intimidating. Much like with drugs, the brain adapts to the levels of the substance it is being fed. The more sugar it is fed, the more it needs to get that same rush. Recall the days when one piece of chocolate was enough to satisfy the craving? Well, those days are behind you. Your dopamine receptors are going numb. Now let us get down to the facts. Loss of control? Check. Cravings? Check. Tolerance? Check. Those are not my words. Those are the definitions of addiction. You are literally checking off all the boxes with your morning coffee and muffin. Get it now? Now the question is, how do we get out of this situation that has been embedded in everything we do? Well, we cannot just stop using it. That is not very realistic. Your brain will throw a tantrum in the middle of the candy aisle like a 2-year-old, which, in a way, is rather ironic. What we can do is perform a 3-day dopamine reset. We cut all sugars for 72 hours. Fruit is okay. I am talking about the processed stuff, the sauces, the snacks, the drinks. That is the list. 3 days. Why 72 hours? Well, that is the time it takes for the dopamine receptors in the brain to start waking up again. That is the time it takes for an apple to taste sweet again. That is the time it takes for black coffee to taste good again. Same idea as the 5-minute override and the 48-hour wallet rule in the previous videos. You're not fighting your brain. You're just allowing the tantrum to run its course. Okay, fine. I'm not perfect. I have a weakness for chocolate. I'm no saint. However, when you realize how this process works, that your brain is essentially being manipulated, that's when things get interesting. Now you're not fighting a craving, you're fighting a process. And a process can be beat. Type 72 hours in the comments if you're actually going to give this a shot. Not sounds interesting, not maybe next week, 72 hours. See how it goes when you stop feeding your brain poison and start feeding it silence. Type a comment asking about your worst sugar addiction. Let's see who's honest with themselves. If this continues to work for you, don't forget to subscribe. See you soon. In the next video, I'm going to show you how your phone is using this same dopamine process to get you to scroll until 3 a.m. Same process, different drug. This one just might make you put your phone down. Or it won't. That's entirely up to you.